this NextGen, folks. So with that, I'll get started. My name is Marlena Hovorka, and I used to work with the RD&A, and I'm here to help them collect focus group data as they build out the NextGen application. So like I said, the form link is in the chat. With that, we'll go ahead and get started on this. I'm not exactly sure how this is going to roll out. I had planned to just cover a few basic things in this first session and collect some info on that, see how it goes, and just see how much we can cram into the next focus group. So for this session, we're going to take a look at the landing page, discuss what the word browse, search, and filter all means to everyone, if they're interchangeable or not. We're going to look at the WFDSS incident page, the use of some pop-ups on the map, and we'll see where we go from there, but that's our main intent. So moving on into this, I've already logged into the WFDSS application. Currently, it's limited access. That's why we're having to do it this way. And I do see a question from Brooke.
Hey, good morning. I don't see that in the chat, and I know it's often difficult in interagency settings to share documents via the chat. So if there's a way to email me the document, I would appreciate it.
Can I send you the link afterwards? Are you good with that?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
And Becca, if you put your email in the chat, I'll send it to you while she's talking.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Allison. Lifesaver there. So, all right, well, moving right along. When WFDSS rolls out, it'll be using INAP for login. And once they get to that point, they'll be able to let more people into the application to do some hands-on testing themselves. So I apologize for the little bit of clunkiness we're going to. So we'll start off with the landing page. When I log in, this is the page we end up on. And the group is looking for a little bit of information on how best to integrate these login pages for you folks. And let me get my form back up. Need that over here. So I make sure I cover everything you guys need answered for me. All right. So like one of the first things, what would be your preference for a landing page? Would you prefer that the WFDSS group just pick that themselves, or would you prefer to be able to set it yourself? So these are some of the feedback questions we're looking for on the form. Another thing, let's see. So if you guys just could fill out the form and let me know your thoughts on that, that would be great. So now we're going to navigate to the incident page, and the hope is the application is intuitive. So any thoughts? Anybody can raise their hand and answer some of these questions right now too. So for incidents, how would you navigate to the incidents to figure out and start trying to find an incident you're considering working on or need information on? Does it look like it would be pretty obvious to you folks? All right. Well, it's very similar to. Oh, go ahead.
I would say I think it does. It looks pretty obvious.
Okay. Yeah, they're not, exact tabs like in, but most applications look like this these days. So when you click on the incident name, it starts to load the map, which they're working on the speed of the map to make the application a little snappier. So while we're waiting for that, we'll just go to this next tab. And once it loads, this is what you see. It's a zoomed out perspective, and you'd have to zoom into your area of interest. So my next series of points, we wanted to get your first impressions of the incident page, was navigating here intuitive, and any other thoughts on how you come into this page and land. So if you can give me those comments in the form, that'd be awesome. And then to get to an area of interest, just because I spent a lot of time in the Southwest this year. We'll zoom in. It works pretty much like most of the map applications we have out there these days. You can scroll in with the wheel on your mouse, use the little buttons to zoom in, and start navigating around and finding your incident. Which brings us to the next thing. They've done a few changes on the screen already, but one question as they use the terms browse, filter, and search, we were trying to find out if they all mean the same thing to you. So that's question number 7 on the form. And then we asked you to, if they're different, give us a little definition of why they're different to you. All those terms mean different things to people who write programming. So it's kind of critical to make sure we're all thinking the same way. So the next thing we need to look at is to find an incident. This is running on like the training version of Irwin, I do believe, is where the incidents come from. So they're not always real-time incidents, but I think they're pretty close these days. So now I just gave away the answer. I wanted to filter on the Southwest and find the Hermit's Peak fire, just because I know there's some stuff we've done in there. So you could navigate there several different ways, which is kind of always the whooptus way, right? So one of the ways to get there, and let me know how you think about this, there's the filter feature, and it's a fairly robust filter feature. Like, I don't even need to capitalize or include the S, and the filter automatically starts working to provide you with the Hermit's Peak fire. So if we can just get some of your thoughts, if that looks intuitive, and how you think about how that works. So the next thing after filtering and finding an incident, I did mention you could do it a couple different ways. One way, you could start clicking on icons on the map. That should bring up a pop-up window, which gives you some information on the incident that you clicked on. That can be quite time consuming to pull up information on Hermit's Peak, but it is highlighted on the map too, because we did already filter it. So you can click on that icon and it will bring you up all the current information flowing through Irwin for that incident. And it even provides some information on their current planned actions as it gathers 209 info and stuff like that. There's quite a lot of detail on those pop-up boxes. It's very similar to what you see in EGP. So the next question is, now I want more detailed information on the Hermit's Peak fire. In order to see that, you have to click on the name. It doesn't exactly look like a hyperlink or anything, but is that work for folks to figure out where to go to find more details on the incident? You can either click on the icon, or you have to, let me go back, show you how that screen looked. So you have your results, Hermit's Peak's right here, and you click in this area, and it does take you to the incident information, which is a lot of the information you saw in the pop-up box, a little bit abbreviated. It's hitting most of the main incident points, unique fire IDs, what dispatch center owns it, the geographic area, and it'll give you the lead who is working on working through the WFDSS information. So, and if there's collaborating agencies, that'll fill out and that kind of stuff. So with that, we wanted to find out how everyone feels about pop-up windows on the map, and if those are easy to use, if they work for folks. Like I said, you see them in EGP, the RMA dashboard and a lot of other maps these days. It kind of flows with the consistency between map interfaces and applications. And then the other question we have, is it easy and intuitive to figure out if you click in the Hermit's Peak area, you can start getting to the detailed information that's related to that incident.
Marlene, it looks like we've got a question from a hand raised. If you want to take that now.
Yes. Yes. Quick question. I just noticed that you have a zoom to and a view box at the bottom of that. Does the view just goes into the map?
I'll zoom the map to the incident and the view. Let's just click on that. It will actually take you into editing the content for that WFDSS decision on that incident. And stumbling with the word WFDSS decision because I didn't run that by Sam to make sure that's what they're still calling it. So once you click on that view button, you now have access to all the analyses, the relative risk assessment, the strategy for the incident, elaborations on other details on the incident, the org assessment, the rationale, and all the periodic assessments. And you can now start editing all those portions by clicking edit. You can go in and add collaborators. And once there's more details on the fire area, that would start populating over here too. And I'm going to have another session that goes into the detail of editing these portions of the decision and adding people into the collaborator section and approvers. But those are some of the initial impressions. So if you guys have seen that, now you can provide some feedback. I think I have question 20 additional comments on what you've seen today, and that would be very helpful. So that was all I planned to bother folks with today. A quick short intro to kind of see what the My Home tab and incidents were turning out to be. So the next session, I got into a little bit more detail on some of the map functions, adding data layers and stuff like that. But I'll give you guys a preview now. So on the map data layers, when they come up, it's very similar to other applications. There's a layer list and it pops open. And they're pretty much similar categories to the current WFDSS application, and maybe match some of the other applications out there a little bit better. So you can go through. The one thing I'd like to point out right now is that we go to boundaries. We can see the geographic area coordination center boundaries are toggled on, but yet as you zoom in, you're not seeing them. So in order to choose layers, you have to activate that top button for that group. And now you can start seeing the GA boundaries across the country. But I'll be collecting, I'll gonna build another form to collect more info on features like that. So we can get feedback from everyone. One more thing, I don't know if anyone noticed as I zoomed in, and maybe give me a comment in question 22. I zoomed in and keep an eye on this right-hand menu where the instants are. The list starts to filter by where you're located. So if I go over here on the Mogollon Rim, it'll start pulling up all those fires on the Apache sick grave. And you'll start seeing everything that was lit along Highway 260. Like I said, that's all I have for today. Are there any more questions or anything anybody's dying to see today? Or if not, I'm going to schedule the next session, I think for Tuesday, the 19th. I'll try and schedule a little farther out. So maybe we can get a few more folks on the call.
Hey, yeah, I
You
just
got
was,
a hand up.
yeah, I just was curious. I apologize if I missed this at the beginning. At some point, will the testers actually be able to test the product, or I guess I was surprised that or is there a way to access this now so we can test it and give you feedback in the form?
There is currently not a way to get everyone logged into the system. They're waiting
Okay.
for the INAP connection to allow the user logins.
Thank you.
No problem. Anything else anybody wants to see, go back? Any other questions? Go ahead, Felipe.
Can you hover your cursor over any one of those incident names? I just want to see um, what happens again. Like say Hall Point or
If I hover over it, nothing really happens.
okay. How about
If
oh,
I
go ahead.
click on it, it'll bring up the pop-up window with the Irwin content.
Okay, and on the right column where it has the results, if you hover over like hold on. Okay, so
Yeah,
Okay.
hovering doesn't activate anything, but if
Yeah.
I click on that line, like this is bootleg, then I can start getting access to the application or to that incident, specific information.
Copy that. Thank you.
Anything else? And like I said, this is a test run, this first one, to see how it's going over. I wasn't sure how many topics we could cover in one session and one form. So I'm thinking I can add a little bit more meat to it, maybe go a little bit longer. I know everyone's busy, so I didn't want to take a huge chunk of everybody's time today. So there's room for feedback on that too on the form.
So usually when you hover over something, it turns into, like, even on Teams, if you hover over the mic to click the mic on and off, it turns into a finger instead of just the arrow. Oh, just like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it identifies that it's a clickable link, that you'll see something when you click it, but it doesn't do that on the fire or the names. So is there a way to change that to make that more obvious?
Reach.
Put it on the list and send it to those folks. That's a good catch, though. I would, yeah. I struggled at first trying to figure out, okay, well, they're here. And I clicked on it, and that's how I figured out you can click on them and they move. So. Anything else, folks? Okay, with that, we'll go ahead and wrap this session up then. I think I caught all the chat messages too. And please, if you guys want to send, you guys all have my email from the invite, please send me a note if you have some comments on things you'd like to see me change, but maybe didn't want to say it out loud on this call. Okay. Thank you very much. You guys have a good rest of your day. And I'll send out invites probably for 2 o'clock on Tuesday the 19th. Try a little bit different time frame and see if I can get a couple more folks on board. and I'll send the link and the invite to the forum for the next session. So folks will have a chance to look at that ahead of time. All right, have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, Marlena.
Thank you.
Thanks.